What's going on?
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding. From the words I spit, so sharp, so freezing. So cold, behold, frostbite they feeling. I could tear you apart or I could go heal them. Don't believe in fate, don't believe in ceilings. I just need a taste and my mind starts feeling. I don't pace myself, I grind on kneeling. Got lust for change, I just love the feeling. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. Cause I'ma live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I don't lie at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll still be winning. I live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I don't lie at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll still be winning. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon.
Melissa in the chat. Yeah, that's the last time you're ever going to hear that song, honey. I'm sorry. We'll never use it again. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Dead Air Live on the Dead Air Full Spectrum channel. It is our Sunday night show. And for the next 2 hours, myself, George Lopez, and Ken DaCosta will be entertaining you with fantastic guests and topics in and around the aspect of the paranormal. We are so glad to have you guys with us tonight, and it's a pretty full room already there in chat, and I think I know why, Ken, don't you?
I think so. We've tried to get the word out as best we could and let everybody know what future holds for us. This will be our final live show on KGRA Digital. And the reason, there's a multitude of reasons. First, the good news. A form of this show, as well as other programming, can still be seen on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the good news. I want to put it there. Those who maybe haven't subscribed or have followed us on KGRA, this is where you go to get that. Whatever the future holds from us. We got some big plans, but if you followed us here on KGRA, come on over. Come on over. Stay with us because we've got big plans one way or the other. So, to start it all off, George, and you can jump in here whenever you want. A lot of this is just personal reasons. George, of course, full-time care for his dad. Night times are a little rough. I have other obligations with family, my team, other projects I'm working on in Dead Air. So it's just become a little bit more challenging to do a live show here. Hi, Tori. A live show here on Sundays. And we don't want to ever mail it in. I think that's the point we try to make. Bookings are difficult sometimes. So we want to try to do things on our guest schedule because we have free time during the day, even if we talk to people across the pond over in Europe on their time. So it gives us a little bit more to draw on. But it's been great here. I can't say enough about Bill, the KGRA family, and a great opportunity here. But again, we're not really going anywhere. We're just trying to make it easier to do what we love to do and try to do it well. And
Yeah.
that's really it from my end.
Yeah. It came down to realistically a compromise within our own capabilities of what is available for us time wise and what is available for our guests time wise. Now,
Yeah.
that is not to say that Sunday night live events will not still be in our future, in Dead Air's future.
Right.
Case in point, live investigations may still blossom on this particular channel live, and specific interviews that are meant to really broadcast an individual or an event
Mhm.
upcoming that we need to get that message out there as much as possible. Now you may ask, where are the interviews predominantly going to be now, and they will be edited. So we'll do a pre-record with such and such guests. We have, I think, 3 interviews, possibly 4 already lined up that we are going to be doing here shortly. And in the process of delivering it, we will be editing it so that it's nice and clean for you guys. And if there's any banners we need to put up there, we'll do it at that point in time, any video, and we
Right.
can overlay that over the audio. That's going to be a lot of fun for us to get a chance to do that.
Yeah.
But the bulk videos will be exclusively put on our Patreon account. And then those particular clips that we deem really important to show the public will still be broadcasted on YouTube.
Well
So
said.
it'll give you a nice little 1-2 punch. And then, if you guys, you're looking around and going, well, I just found $3 in my couch. Subscribe for a month on Patreon.
Check it
And,
out.
and if you like it, stay with us. And if you don't, you can always just exit. There's no permanent obligations to it. But the bottom line of it is that we have loved partnering with KGRA primarily because of our producer, primarily because of Bill Forte,
Well,
who is just a stand-up individual whose love and passion for this field in all categories under the umbrella of paranormal. We call him a friend because he is, and he is family. So again, we thank you, Bill. I know you're backstage, and you're not feeling too well, but we thank you for everything that you have contributed. There he is.
Bill.
Even though I have the flu, I still have to come on. You guys, you know how much I love you guys, and I mean, it is what it is. It's just the things that are necessary moving forward.
Life.
But you always, I'll say this as the program director, you always have a home here.
Thank you.
So
It's good to know.
it could be the Shanley. Oh my God! But but yeah, you guys are awesome, and like you said, it's like family. It really is. So
Well, Bill is the guy. Bill, we need to log on. Hang on, I'm in the car. Let me pull over.
nah, that's true. That has
To
happened.
get on. But everybody who enjoys Bill in chat, let it be known that we've already got plans with Bill away from,
Yes.
the show to go and do things and hang out with us and do some investigations. So Bill, like George said it, well said, part of the family now, whether you like it or not, Bill,
And Joseph, he's an Iron Maiden fan. You see this shirt? I got to put myself a full screen since this is our last thing. I just want to show him. This I got at the last tour.
Maiden.
Yeah, but there's aliens in
Got
the
it.
background. You see them?
You're so weird. That's why we love you.
Anyway, guys, I love you guys. Looking forward to doing stuff with you guys in the future as well.
Okay,
Indeed,
dude.
we will.
Have a
Absolutely.
great show.
It
Thank
should
you,
be
sir.
said that I think, Bill, before you go on Sunday, you're going to be playing some things from our archives as well, correct?
Yeah, I'll be playing audio. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So there it is. So it's not, guys, it's all not all doom and gloom, It's
See you guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Just to
Thanks.
change, why does my shirt look like I'm in the movie Tron?
I don't know. It's like you got some gamma radiation there, and
Something's happening.
you're gonna Hulk out on us.
You
here
wouldn't
pretty
like me when I'm angry.
Best
We'll deal
show
with it.
ever. If we're going, I want George to transform into a beast and just.
Yeah, no, because then KGRA is not going to let us go by no means. He's like, no, it was great. I don't know how it works on radio, but we'll try to describe it as much as possible.
Yeah.
And there you go, Billy loves his shirt. So that's where it is. That's what's going on with us, guys. Before we bring our wonderful guest on tonight, who I have pested and aggravated and pushed for several weeks now, and we're gracious to come on tonight. Ken, I want you to kind of give a little bit of insight of what is upcoming also on the channel that you've been working on, because it's going to be a blast.
Sure. We're having an awful lot of fun. We talked about shows we have live with Cody and Satori. Well, that was weird with Aaron Bush, Carrie Hopper. We have Extremely Strange that we do where, I just tell weird stories because that's kind of what I do. We also have in the works, and it's coming very, very, very soon. I guess for the last time here, I'll play the teaser, George, to let everybody know that we are only maybe a couple of weeks away from debuting this. So one more time, let's take a look. Hello and welcome to the premiere episode of Last Bite, a show where we honor the dearly departed and their culinary legacy. I'm Ken DeCosta, your host, and joining me today we have a very special guest. Hello, dear. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
What is your experience around the kitchen?
None.
Okay, well, this is going to be perfect then. Do you take science classes at all?
One time I did take a science class and I overheated a glass beaker and it shattered in my hand.
Oh, what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's gonna be awesome.
again, that's another one of these projects that we're trying to bring to programming to dead air. And the premise of it is we discovered that a lot of people, when they pass, left recipes on their headstones to share with the world. So we are endeavoring to cook each and every one. Yeah, I do. I can bust it out, Joe. We're endeavoring to cook everyone the way it's been intended to be cooked and then try it later on. And if you are a Patreon member, we got something special in sort of like coordinating that and the show we're doing. But
I don't think anybody else is doing recipes off of gravestones. So this is a first.
That's what they're there for.
First. And there'll be some twists and turns along the way during this season. So make sure you guys, again, hit that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. Very important if you're first time joining us right now. And also the reminder bell from upcoming content, to which, as Ken just explained, there's going to be a lot coming your way.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
All right. Coming our way right now, though, guys, is our very special guest for tonight. And Ken, if you'd like to do the honors.
I would definitely like to do so. The Ghost Sisters are a female-led paranormal investigative group based in Marion, Ohio. They focus on research and technical aspects of paranormal investigations. Each of their investigators and crew members bring a different skill set and background knowledge to the table. So we're going to learn a little bit about them tonight. So please welcome our guest, Ghost Sister Mandy Metzger, to Dead Air. Hello, Mandy. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, guys. How are you?
Yeah, we're doing just fine. We're just getting on with a few announcements here. You came on a great night. You made it. You got it. You got in under the wire here on KGRA.
I'm trying. I do apologize for any, the connection here. Yeah. Hopefully it pulls through. It should. Hopefully.
Well, this
Yeah.
is not the first time. It won't be the last time. But the difference is now why we're going to pre-record. One of the other reasons also is for connection issues like this, that we don't have to, we're not pressed for time. So if we have a guest come on and they wanted to do it at 10 o'clock in the morning, we can spend the first 15 minutes just adjusting everything so we don't have any issues along the way there. But my Lord, how many times, Ken, how many times have we had connection issues, whether it's the
Listen,
camera or everything?
yeah, we have connection issues right here in our studios. Sometimes we have endeavored to upgrade as much as we can to make sure it doesn't happen. But sometimes you get a little overload here, and those things happen. Everybody else out there, if you're not watching this show, get off the internet. Give us more broadband. Do me a solid here and just go away. Unless you're watching this
worth
show.
it, everybody? Is it worth it, seriously, to be on there when you can be here? Focus on it. So basically, Mandy, Ghost Sisters, it basically at this point in time for us rounds out a month of highlighting paranormal teams. We've done months where we did haunted locations. We've done months where we did true crime. And this month was about paranormal teams. And, we wanted to get into the topics of each of these individual groups as to what caused them to form, the background behind it, and then, of course, some interesting stories and evidence to provide also on it. But I found this group on social media and reached out to make the contact, and response back right away from Mandy was, we'd love to, absolutely. So we made this a reality for you guys to get to know another team out there in the field. And it's important, again, we always talk about networking. Whether it's through the social media or Googling, trying to find somebody out for assistance in your area. Let's start with that. Mandy, where is your group located at? Where do you investigate?
We are located in Marion, Ohio. That is our hometown. We travel everywhere. We try to, due to expenses and stuff, but we try to keep it in Ohio. But we've traveled everywhere, all over the states. So it doesn't really have to be just Ohio. We go anywhere.
And all of you are based out of there then, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What got you started in this field? Let's start with Mandy directly, not necessarily Ghost Sisters, but the way you explained it to me, you are predominantly the investigator, and then you have the equipment and the skeptic.
Yes, I am the one who founded the team Ghost Sisters back in 2017 in October. Can you guys hear me?
You keep going.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So started the team, and the reason I started the team was because I've always been having something going on around me since I was young, 9 and 10. So throughout my life, I've been dealing with paranormal, and I used to be terrified of it. And as I got a little older, I kind of got used to it, and I was always drawn to it. So it just seemed like everything was aligning for me to start. I actually started my mediumship first, and then I actually started the team. And I wanted to make it a all-female team because you don't see a lot of females teams out there. Of course, over the 8 years we've been doing this, it seems like there's a lot more that's coming out. So that's great. But yes, it is the three of us. I worked in law enforcement for 8 years also. I was in law enforcement when I started the team. My older sister, she's been with me since I started the team. She is a business entrepreneur, and I'm sorry she couldn't be here right now because she's actually out on business. My other sister, she works in a factory, so she's always drained from the hours that she has to put in. So, but she is, my younger sister is the skeptic / believer on the team. And my other sister, she is a believer. She's a full-blown believer.
So, I mean, the ghost sisters aren't necessarily a social construct. They're like biological sisters. I mean,
Yes.
you're stuck with each other one way or the other.
Yes.
Yeah. So, good luck ever getting anyone to leave. They won't go. Let me ask you this, Mandy. As a group, what would you say is your mission at the end of the day, each investigation? What is your approach? How do you go into these things as far as what you hope to accomplish and what you hope to discover?
Well, what I hope to accomplish is to collect as much evidence that I can at a location. I want to prove that there is afterlife, because of my own personal experiences. So, like when you go to tell somebody about your own personal experiences, a lot of people, they don't believe, or, I just want to put proof out there that these ghosts and spirits do exist. And also, if it's a residential case, at the end of the day, I want to be able to provide that family evidence.
Yeah. Now, do you prefer traditional investigative methods, or do you lean a little bit more newer technology, or do you find yourself kind of combination of both?
A combination of both. I actually just recently filmed with Sherry Dimendetti back in November, and I really loved it because her form of investigations is, how taps do it. So, I mean, she uses a little bit of, gadgets, but she doesn't use spirit boxes or anything like that. So that was interesting. I really enjoyed going in, not using what I usually would use. And I actually like that too. So I like to do different methods. It just depends on who I'm investigating with and where I'm going.
Yeah, using technology, it's great, but it's also great not to be so encumbered by this stuff where you're
Yes.
just lugging things from room to room to room to room, and you kind of decide what your essentials are going to be depending on where you are.
I've actually noticed I've got, thousands and thousands of dollars in equipment, and I'm down to like 2 bags when it goes to me going on an investigation because I noticed that I'm taking less and less equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes less is more because it can be intimidating, and it can also be, you eliminate as many false positives as you can. Now, how do you decide? And I know you've traveled extensively. I've looked into it. I saw you down in Tennessee. I've seen you at the Reformatory in Ohio. How do you choose which locations that you're going to do? Is it just a case of availability, or do you is there a certain background you look for as far as the history of the place that intrigues you and you say, yeah, let's give that a shot, we have to go there?
Well, I don't usually like to know much about a location. Being a medium, I want to go in not knowing. But a lot of times we have people reaching out to us, wanting us to come to their location. So that's always great. Now, these other places that we go to that are you pay to go to, a lot of times I am mainly the one who reaches out and say, hey, we're going to go here, and we're just a small group. So sometimes when we're going to these bigger locations, we got to invite more people to join us. But usually it's the cost, it's how far it is, and the location. Now, I love prisons, asylums, hospitals, jails, things like that, because I just work in a law enforcement. I love it. I love going there. To me, they are some of the most active locations sometimes.
Now, are you willing to go to places where there may be a little more intense type of haunting? I mean, I'm not necessarily, immediately jumping to demonic and malevolent and everything, but intensity could come from a lot of different areas other than that. But are you willing to go there? And to date, could you maybe if it's private residence, you don't have to tell us, but what is an example of one of the more intense investigations that you've been on so far?
Gosh, there's so many. There's no location, no matter what the claims are on a location, if they claim that there's a demonic spirit or not, it doesn't matter. It's not going to stop us from going. We're going to go. We have been to some really dark locations where they do practice things, and like places that are ongoing. They're not places that were or actually going. They're still doing their thing, like witches and magic or whatever. We've been to these locations that are really dark. And as far as it goes with the residential cases, yeah, we've been to some. One of my most recent ones that was pretty dark that I actually just did a episode with Sean Austin. He's a friend of mine. I had to call him in. He's a demonologist to help me with a really bad case in Ohio. I mean, this was so far beyond us ladies. Like, I mean, it was some really weird, dark stuff going on here, and Sean and I took on this case, and he ended up blessing the home. There was 2 homes we were dealing with, and it was a sad case in Ohio where the daughter had been put through a lot because of her mother was into dark magic. Since the girl was young, she was right there around all this crazy stuff that was going on, and her mother was into like satanic, just bad stuff. I don't even want to really say.
Yeah.
So, and this girl had the mother was like into some really weird stuff. I just want to say, and the daughter was abused due to her mother having all these gangs come over and stuff. So there was a lot of bad stuff. And after the mother passed away, the house was empty, but there was the girl's stepfather had literally committed. I want to be careful what I say on YouTube and Facebook. Anyway, he unalived himself at that location. There was just a lot of bad energy. So we had to go there, and we cleansed it after we investigated it. But it was really bad. It was dark. They were giving us validations of the torture that went on at this home. The mother was into torturing men. She was, yeah. It was a weird case. I don't think I've ever been on a case like that before, and that one was really bad.
Yeah, that sounds like a cocktail of negativity there. Seems like
Yes.
everybody had it. How do you, or did you in this situation, how do you counsel somebody with that kind of background that may have invited or created an environment where they become vulnerable? Do you just give it to them straight? Hey, because I don't know if they continued those practices or if they stopped them, then now it's too late. So they call you in to fix everything. So I don't know if you have to tell them straight. It's just like, don't go there ever again.
Well, when we were doing the interview with them, it was pretty hard. We just kind of talked to them and told them what we think they should be doing, and cleansing themselves, cleansing the home, because it was something that was affecting the whole family. Her children, her husband, everyone was having bad things going on. And even during the interview, when we had her read from some Bible verses, you could literally see this girl, she like started sweating and like shaking a little bit. It was really weird. I've never seen someone do that. And her eyes even looked like they were turning black. So, I mean, I think she had a really bad attachment. There was something going on. It was weird. And I'm not one to put, demonic things out there and all that, but there was some weird, something really dark. You could just feel that dark heaviness energy. But we did the best we could. And when I'm dealing with a situation, when I'm trying to help someone, I just kind of, I want to know more about their past, not so much what they're dealing with now. What went on in your past. Here's what I think you should be doing. there's certain steps that you should take. Have you been through counseling? Are you on medications? I just, there's a process I like to go through with people depending on the situation.
Yeah, a lot of times when we talk about attachments and people tell their attachment stories, just basically an entity looking for a host, and typically they choose the most willing or the most vulnerable. Have you ever had to deal with that in the 8 years you've been doing it, or has any of the other ladies had to deal with anything like that, or do you take steps to ensure that doesn't happen as far as attachments from cases?
Yes. Well, my sister's not so much. I mean, they've had things affect their energies when we're out there in the field. And especially me, because I'm also an empath. So sometimes the energies can really affect us ladies. But I seem to be the one that gets the most affected by it. I've actually had things follow me back here, dark things. I knew I had an attachment. So I myself would just go through a certain procedure that I would do, cleanse my energy, salt bath, whatever I got to do, cleanse my home. I've done it all to actually get this negative thing off of me that I knew that I had attachment, it was attached to me. And I knew because I literally would hear knocks in my house and I would hear growling in my house. I mean, and all week, I'd have a streak of bad luck from an attachment. But yeah, it's hard when you're someone like me who's so sensitive and you get an attachment, a negative attachment, or something darker that would follow me and try to really latch on to me. I have to go through a long process to get it off because it does affect my moods and my home. So it's not easy, but it's happened.
Well, I think the human condition is something that we have to realize. I'm a very empathetic person. I am not an empath at all. But, you care about people, you have that humanity in you, and each and every one, whether you're a psychic or a muggle like me with no ability whatsoever, you do pick up vibes, you do pick up energy, and this is why we tell people you have to listen to yourself sometimes. I just wanted to mention in the second half, we've got some clips that Mandy has been kind enough to share with us from investigations. So you want to stay tuned with that. So have you ever been in a location to date that you felt you had to step away? I'm certainly not going to say you left anybody hanging, but you just had to maybe walk out of a room, take a breath, take a walk outside, chill out for a little while, a couple of deep breaths, get back at it, because, sometimes these things can get a little intense.
Yes, I've had it happen more than once at locations, and just last night, we were in Ohio, in Quaker City, Ohio. We spent the night at a haunted Airbnb.
Ooh, you gotta tell us about that.
This was our second time going there. We were contacted last summer from a lady who owns this. It's an old building from the 1800s, and she's turned it into a dog grooming place. But the upstairs she had an apartment, and she was remodeling the whole place. And when you start to remodel a place, sometimes it just kicks up that energy and the activity in a home. So. Right. We actually went there last summer, and it was active when we went, but it was in the process of being remodeled. So 6 months later, we go back, which was last night, and she has everything totally just remodeled, and she turned the upstairs into a haunted Airbnb. And you can actually spend the night and investigate this whole location. So the energy, it's very heavy there, and it was affecting me because I could tell my sister, I was getting really agitated with her. So when that happens, I gotta kind of like go into another room. I'll try not to say nothing out loud to her because we do most of our investigations live. So I will just walk out of the room and just kind of catch my breath and then come back in. Or step outside. Either way, it depends.
Yeah, there's no shame or crime in that. I mean, listen, we go into places people don't want to go, so there's enough courage there, but we're just humans, so sometimes there's no shame in saying, yeah, I got to take a little walk here. Some of you have questions. Keep the questions coming. At one point during the show, George or I will get to your questions. So
Also,
please
Ken,
do that.
I'm dealing with a bunch of women here, and these are my biological sisters. And let me tell you, it's a lot of energy. We got different personalities, and it's funny because we do bicker a lot at each other, but that's just us. That's just our personalities. People love it. They find it funny. Yeah. It is interesting to see us out there together. And if you're watching us when we're live, you can actually see the different personalities coming out of us and how it can affect each one of us. It does.
Yeah. Well, I think having a genetic bond, it's not that it's unheard of that siblings or, participate with each other. That's not unique in itself, but to have that genetic bond is a different kind of dynamic that is interesting to me. So yeah, I know we want to hear more about that. I want to ask you a deep rhetorical question now, right? And I love to ask people this, and I don't know if you have an answer, but what is it that the dead want from the living, basically, when someone is able to communicate through whatever means that is used, and they show a certain intelligence. And what I mean by intelligence, it's not that, they're acknowledging us, but for the most part, why are some so eager to communicate? What is the message, and what is it, if anything, that they want from us other than that acknowledgement?
I think for them to know that the living they can still be heard, or even someone like me can hear them, feel them. Sometimes I will see them if they want me to, and also they want that, not just the acknowledgement, but their voice to be heard. They want you to say something, pass on a message if you can.
Right.
So that's what I think one of their main reasons that they do. And I think everyone has an aura, and everyone's aura is a little bit different. And I think because I'm such a highly active person, I'm like always like I'm an excited person. When I go investigate, I put out a lot of that excitement, the energy and stuff. So I think they can see that and they sense that with me.
Sure.
And they just, for some reason, I just have them coming to me a lot and want to they want to be heard. They want to be heard. Yeah. Definitely.
I got one last question before I'm out of here, because I'm going to bring George in. But have you, as someone who is a sensitive, have you ever helped the spirit move on?
That's interesting, because I am not one to go in and do that, because I'm not saying it can't be done, but I'm not someone who claims that they can do that. I have helped them and told them, hey, go to the light if you can. Tried to encourage them to go. Don't stay here. But that's not what I do. My main thing is to hear their voice, let them be heard, pass on a message. Now, and especially during my personal readings, I just pass on messages from them to their loved ones. I'm not one to do that, which, who knows, that could change. That could always change.
It's interesting. Maybe we'll circle back to that, because I always have had some questions about spirit transfer, things like that. But in the meantime, Mandy, thank you. I'm going to be back in a little while, but I'll leave you to George.
Okay. Thank you,
Ken. Yeah, and the reason why we do this, Mandy, since your first time here with us, is Ken and I will have these brainstorms and want to start going
George.
with. Huh?
Oh.
What? I missed what you said, dear.
I didn't hear you. You cut out.
Oh, okay. But you can hear me now?
Oh yeah, you sound really good now.
All right. Yeah, the reason why Ken and I tag out is because we have a history of both getting extremely enthusiastic and stepping all over each other as we're asking questions. So we thought this was probably the best way to get that time in there with our
I'm
guests.
sorry. What did you say?
You see what happens every time there's a stepping in.
I like that. That's a good sense of humor to have, you know?
So, or I want to talk about your time in law enforcement.
Okay.
Uh, were you a patrolman?
No, I did graduate, however, from law enforcement back in 2006. I did try to push forward with that at a sheriff's department. Unfortunately, I made it all through the interviews, did not get hired, and which really shocked me. But at the time, my father was incarcerated, so the sheriff wasn't about to hire someone like me who would, want to go visit their father when he was incarcerated, which was very sad to hear that. But so after that, I did not pursue until years later. I ended up going into corrections, and I was in corrections for 8 years.
Oh, so that's your fascination with the prisons and the asylums.
Yes, yes.
All right.
But George, corrections is not easy. I mean, yeah, when you're a cop patrolling or whatever, you're out there dealing with, the people and stuff, and they bring them to us. We have to deal with them once they bring them to us. And I had to do a lot of transporting. I carried weapons, I carried guns, I carried tasers, mace, everything. So I felt like I was just working inside, instead of being out there on the road.
Well, the reason I was bringing it up was about the training involved with that, and it wouldn't have any difference working a beat or working inside of a prison. And that's about how to read people. And I'm curious about whether or not any of that applied, and even if you have a story about that for your residential cases, whether it was, reading someone's eyes or how their mannerisms were, if you were a little bit apprehensive to take a case based upon what that person was telling you and how they were reacting.
Yes, when we're dealing with the residential cases, I have to be careful. Well, I did at that time when I was in law enforcement, and I still do because my husband is a captain. He works at a jail, and he's the captain. So I'm all over social media, and a lot of the people follow us that he knows, and I don't want to go to a residential case. Someone who's a known repeated felon or something, who's in and out of the jail. So I do get a lot of people that have reached out to me that were in the jail, and they were dealing with a lot of stuff. That was really hard, because there was a case I did take on. I did. And this was when I was still working in law enforcement. This was someone who had been locked up quite a lot, but they had been out for a long time. They reached out to me. They had a lot of bad stuff going on, and I did take that case on. And this person had a lot of attachments due to being incarcerated in prison and now jails and prisons. So with my background, I did use a lot of that because I felt he had a lot of attachments from where he was incarcerated. So yeah, I mean, I do take my law enforcement skills, and I do when it just depends on where I'm going, if it's a business that I'm dealing with or a prison, jail, or whatever. I do use a lot of my talents working in law enforcement to communicate with spirit
It's
and
got
to
to
help
be
people.
it's got to be a confidence builder too, doing that kind of work when you are interacting with commercial locations and you're trying to get your team in there. Um, there's no shortness in the way that you're presenting or lack of confidence in the way that you're presenting to those property owners, who you are and who your team is. And I would imagine that there were a couple of them that you might have even surprised yourself that you
Hmm.
succeeded in getting into based upon your skill set communicating wise.
Yes. Yes. And going to these prisons and jails, and I've investigated courthouses. I love it though because I have that. I understand. I mean, I was never locked up, but kind of because I was with them all, like sometimes 12-hour shifts, 16-hour shifts. So I got to feel all these different emotions, and so it's the same. And how I'm a firm believer. How you are now is how you are in spirit. If you're still here, your personality goes with you. So, and I personally know this because I've had a lot of spirits come through, follow me from where I worked at. We've actually captured some clear EVPs of inmates that I dealt with. And they would call me out by my last name. So I always found
Wait a
that
minute, wait a minute,
fascinating.
wait a minute, wait a minute. From inmates you dealt with that were they on death row or they passed otherwise?
They were passed. They passed on due to some of them addictions. And
Okay.
yeah, I helped them a lot when they were still here. I would talk to them and try to help them out. And eventually, you can only do so much. And eventually, the addiction would get to them, and they would, become spirit. But yet, they were following me from the jail to locations and to my house here. So, I mean, I've captured them. I mean, even at the jail, I had numerous things going on. They were always contacting me at the jail, spirits. I've actually had them come through. I was in the control room on first shift. I worked, and I had just going down to female housing to give a female officer a break. And this jail is very haunted. I always say if it ever closes down, one day I'm going to be there investigating it, if it ever was to. Um, so I go down to female housing, I give the officer a break, and as soon as she leaves, there's a radio that we're allowed to listen to in the control room, and she had it on the station, and it was coming in clear. So I'm sitting there watching about 50 cameras, and all of a sudden, white noise kicks on, and I hear this guy come through the radio, and he's saying, "Help me." I was like so like, oh my God, surprised. I get up, I turn around, I walk towards the radio, and I said, "Does somebody need help?" And he goes, "Help me." Then the radio kicks back on. So I mean, I've had
Wow.
so many stories I can tell you. I could write a book on it.
Now, you've investigated prisons uh, as Ghost Sisters, as an investigative team.
Yes.
How have you approached that with 8 years working inside of a prison? How have you used that in communication with the spirits of former prisoners in those locations, and how effective has it been?
How long has it been since I've been retired from law enforcement?
No, how, when you've gone to haunted jails to investigate,
Mhm.
the experience and the length of time that you were doing this, have you incorporated that communicating with the spirits, letting the spirits know, hey, I was a prison guard, you know, uh, in other words, you're using your experience and talking to these ex-prisoners who are now passed, and how effective has that been for you if you've done that?
Yes, I actually do. When I'm going into a prison or a jail, I do. I use my law enforcement skills because I know how to communicate with them. I go in, I start asking questions or doing like role plays. Like,
A little frozen right now. Just give it a second, Mandy. Right now, you're completely frozen with no sound. Are you there still?
yes,
And if you could, okay, now we got you back. Go ahead. You were just talking about how you'd use your
I'm here.
skill.
Oh no.
Go ahead. That little bit of a communication issue, unfortunately, it'll happen from time to time. Can you hear us now? I think now you're moving a little bit, Mandy. Can you hear me?
Are you here?
I can hear. Can you hear me?
I'm back.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. I don't know if it's my phone. I do apologize about that. I was thinking about jumping on my MacBook. Maybe it'll be better. I don't know.
Well, we got about 7 minutes. We'll be coming up on the break.
Okay.
So if you want to switch over, then that's fine. But I can hear you fine now. Again, your video's a little choppy, but that's not as important as being able to hear you. So
Okay. But yes, when I go into a prison or a jail, I use my law enforcement background. I communicate, I let them know right away, hey, I'm Officer Cummings, and I'll start talking to them like I would if I was at work. You know,
right.
I have even been known to wear my utility belt on investigations at prisons. And actually, one of the first apparitions that we actually captured, I was still working in law enforcement when we went to the Mansfield Reformatory. And this was before I even started Ghost Sisters. I had my sister join me. I've never been on investigation at the time, but I've always been drawn to that location. So we ended up going about 9 years ago, and I used my sergeant's GoPro, and I had bought a SB7 spirit box. I had the geophone, which is a device that picks up on electromagnetic fields. And we went in and started to begin our investigation, but we were down in solitary and the lights were still on. They hadn't turned off the lights yet. I was down there telling them, hey, it's Officer Cummings. I work in corrections. And I was just communicating with them. Well, I kept hearing this guy. He kept saying, hey, hey. I didn't see him nowhere, but I was hearing him. So later on, when the evidence was, we reviewed the cameras, my sergeant did, and he contacted me and letting me know that we captured something right in the beginning of the video where the lights were on. So what we captured, what we believe was the guard Frank, who was said to have been unalived down in that area. And so we got him walking at the end of the hallway, and we actually captured a shadow figure in the middle. Now,
Nice.
but the awesome part about it was that's what inspired me to start a team. Right after that, that's when I started the team. I was like, this is what I'm meant to do. I knew it. And I knew to save that video, right? So about just 2 years ago, my friend who was a producer at that time when Ghost Brothers was still on TV on the Travel Channel,
Right.
she contacted me. She knew I worked in law enforcement and she knew I had a video. And that landed us Ghost Sisters on the Shank season 2 Lights Out with Ghost Brothers. And that video was actually put in that episode, and I'm on there. You can see Chasity and I on there. And yeah, it turned out, it was pretty cool. It was almost like it was meant to be, you know, keeping the video, and we ended up being on Ghost Brothers, and it was awesome.
Look at that. I didn't know you were a TV star.
Well, we're small time here in Ohio.
So that, I mean, I think it's pretty cool though, because then, your fascination with this certainly was before, what did you say you started? 2017?
Yes, October 2017. So we're coming up on our 8th year.
That's got to be a wonderful milestone for you guys. It's,
Yeah.
it's one of those things, again, when you're out there and you're doing investigations, there is a bit of an addiction. People don't understand it until they get into this
Yes.
field,
Yes.
and until they have those experiences. And then once those really come into play, especially those visceral ones, the ones that are tangible, whether it's physical contact or disembodied voices, not just all electronic, um, it's something to behold how people react to that, and they hold on to that like a dear memory. It really is an
Yes.
interesting aspect of this field that I love so much. But I wanted to, and we've got about 3 minutes left here. I wanted to ask you one other thing about the investigative part of it, is that you are the team medium also. When
Yes.
did you discover that ability was within you?
Well, I noticed there was something about me when I was 9 and 10 because I just
Oh,
there was
young.
a lot of things going on. When I became a teenager, I just had it's just been a long road for me with these spirits. But I knew. See, I had a brother that passed away when he was 15, and I would have been 10 at the time.
Sorry.
So I was really close to him, but he was the first one to actually let me know that, hey, spirits and ghosts are real. So he used to always try to scare me, and he let me know that he was around me. But I've been dealing with spirits since I was young, my whole life. Everywhere I lived, everywhere I've worked, I go. So it's just I've always been drawn to it, even though it used to terrify me. And my kids have witnessed a lot too. It's just I used to think, is it me or is it the places that I'm living at? No, it's
And
me.
and having a skeptic sister has got to be tough on you in those younger years because she's not buying into the things that you're experiencing because she doesn't have that same sensitive capability, which is again uniquely strange. You genetically may have inherited this from one of your parents, and your sister did not.
So what's weird, George? My sister, the skeptic one, she has actually seen um spirits and she has heard them, but she questions it.
That's fair.
Yeah, it is.
As long as she doesn't completely write it off simply to say I'm right, and it still keeps an open mind. That's the important part. Um, Rapidly and remarkably, we are already at the top of the hour. We have to go to our break at this point in time. On the other side, we have some evidence, and then also, Mandy, if you don't mind, we also have some questions from the chat that we'd like to
Sure.
give to you. Okay.
Yep.
So if you want to switch to your MacBook and give it a try, you've got 4 or 5 minutes, and we got things to cover just on the other side of the break.
As long as you have Google Chrome on there, Mandy.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, then you'll be fine.
You should be good then. Do you need Ken to send the link again? If he send it to you via your email or Facebook or whatever, all you got to do is click back in there. That'll get you right back with
Yeah.
us.
I'll just open it back up in my email.
Very good. All right, guys, we're going to go to break right now. We come back on the other side. We'll continue with Ghost Sisters Mandy. You're watching Dead or Alive on the Dead or Full Spectrum channel. We'll be right back.
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
As UFO reports come in from around the world, the Mutual UFO Network, MUFON, is there. We continue to explore new cases and build our massive database. We share our information with the world in a number of ways. If you would like to be part of our investigative team, you are always welcome. What could be more exciting than exploring the UFO question firsthand? Join MUFON, find your friends.
are listening to the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. We provide unparalleled coverage of trending news in the world of ufology, cryptozoology, and paranormal phenomenon. Whether you're watching our video live stream or listening to one of our audio programs, you are getting the best from world-renowned researchers and hosts, guiding you through topics the mainstream won't touch. Miss one of your favorite programs? No problem. Head over to the members area at kgradb.com for access to our massive library of award-winning content. Make contact, stay connected, only at kgradb.com.
And to keep in mind again, guys, you can definitely join us on our Patreon account. That's Dead Air Paranormal. Wonderful, wonderful people that we always get together with on Town Hall on our Monday nights. Talk about the show before and talk about everything else that's under the sun. So make sure you guys get a chance. You can subscribe for only $3 a month. And again, from this point forth, with our departure from kgradb.com, we will be providing our full content interviews right there on Patreon. So we hope to see you, to say the least. Back with Mr. Ken DaCosta. And Ken, she has switched over to her iMac. I believe that's what this, I don't know. I don't know anything about the Apple stuff. Mandy has rejoined us here, and there she is.
Okay.
Let's check your audio.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
My sister just informed me that she might be able to jump on Chasity.
She is, and here she is right now. Hi, Chastity.
Hello, welcome.
Hi. Sorry, I can't stay on long. I figured I'd jump on for a few minutes. I've been on the road all day.
That's okay.
That's okay. You come on and keep Mandy in line here. She's out of control.
So she says that she's the boss. Is that true?
She tries.
She tries. How did the investigation go? You guys did an investigation last night, right?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
What's that? I'm sorry.
I said you guys did an investigation last night, right?
Yes.
How did everything go?
Went good.
Good. Excellent.
Well, I got some good stuff.
Well,
love to hear it.
Found out tonight that you guys were TV stars on Ghost Brothers, which is awesome.
Mandy was.
Ooh.
She's the boss.
Chastity was on there. She got 3 seconds of fame because she was in the video where the apparition was. And she
like I said,
around. 3 seconds of fame for Chess.
Like I said, Mandy was.
Oh, hell yeah.
So which category are you? Are you the equipment specialist or are you the skeptic?
I'm neither.
What do you fall under? What category are you on the team?
I'm just the older sister.
Paranormal investigator. That's it.
Paranormal investigator.
Well,
I'm the one that aggravates her.
Wow.
I'm the interrogator.
Well,
Keep
she
it-
did mention that. She said, "Yeah, when you're working with your siblings, there are conflicts that get involved with that." Can you give us an example of what the disagreement might be typically?
I'll say something and she'll be like, Chastity.
Well, no, what it is my sister will be running the live, and we always disagree on. She'll say she's seeing orbs, and I say no, it's dust. So we always argue over orbs and dust, and that seems to be a situation there.
She acts
And-
like I don't know what dust look like.
In the sense of patterns, the way that it moves,
Yeah.
as opposed to the air, the individual orbs. Those are the ones that I find interesting. Also, is that what you're talking about?
The ones that big and they move slow.
Yeah.
Those are ones that orbs, but when they fly real fast, there's a whole bunch of them. Yeah, that's dust.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, just like whether you're outside or dusty inside, it's not going to be one. It's going to be hundreds, if not thousands.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'll see like one just fly by, and it'll do different size, different shape, and it'll go by real slow. And sometimes, you know what I mean. I know. I don't say they're all orbs, but before Mandy even looks at it to see if it was an orb, she's like, "It's an orb. It's not an orb. It's not even seeing it." How do you know that wasn't an orb? You didn't even see what I saw.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. Consider
And
us
it instantly says it's dust.
consider us to be therapists while you work this out. The orb thing. I mean, we're here for you.
If I may, Chastity, make a learned offering to you with regards to that, things that I've talked and taught over the last almost 20 years now. When you are capturing orbs on your camera, all right, just to rub it in Mandy's face, ask for that orb to move in direction, left, right, up, down. And if it listens, that denotes intelligence. And as soon as that happens, you got a gotcha moment for Mandy.
All right. Mandy, text that to me so I don't forget.
Just watch the rebroadcast. That's all.
Right. At the 1 hour, 7 minute mark, you should find everything that you need.
That's a good
No,
idea.
I mean,
All that.
it's good to stay in your lane, avoid all the drama in the paranormal field and everything. Although I had 3 sisters, I've seen fistfights.
We have more sisters.
We bicker, but we don't call each other names. We don't hit each other. We don't talk like that. We don't do that.
Good.
Ken, I have a lot of sisters. These are the only sisters I have. These are the only ones that do the paranormal with me, though.
Yeah. You can't just go anywhere for that. So let me ask you both a question, right? When you get spirit communication, do you think that they communicate us in a way that aligns with our personal beliefs? Or do you think they just have a universal method of communication? I guess to break that down is, if you're a believer and you're more open to that, does that encourage more communication? Or are they just driving by in a car at 60 miles an hour yelling out the window at you? You know what I mean? Does it help to have that mindset?
I personally think it does. I think the more you are open to it, and they know, and I'm a firm believer spirits can read your mind, telepathic. They can read your mind, and
Oh yeah.
And I firmly believe they do.
I have stories. But anyway, I agree. I could not agree with you more, Mandy, that it's a lot of it is telepathy
if you go in and you're not open, you might miss something. You might just say it's something else, or you just might not even be paying attention and you're just not into it and you're ignoring it. But I have seen where spirits have really took the opportunity to mess with someone like that who did not believe, and they knew it, and they would do something to let them know they would either hear something, see something they couldn't explain. So it really just depends. On the spirit, if you ask me.
Yeah. All right, Chastity, how do you not fall into the trap? And by the trap, I mean, we all want something. We want to walk away with something if it's possible. But how do you not fall into that trap where you're so open-minded and you want it so bad that you might start falling for stuff, for lack of a better word, that you think something's paranormal that it's not because you just want it so bad?
First off, I don't want it that bad. So that ain't a problem.
That's okay. I got a bunch more questions here.
More
So
get the hell up out of there than I am to want it. I mean, yeah, I want something exciting, but I can't control it. I mean, if it happens, it happens. So I don't like pray like Mandy. I'm not obsessed. Like, oh my God, I gotta get something. I gotta get something. You know what I mean? If I get it, I get it.
yeah.
I
So
just flow, if that makes sense.
with use of the spirit box, how do you tell the difference between an actual intelligent response and maybe a coincidence? Is there a technique that you use to, is it something simple as maybe say, repeat that, or do it on a count of 3, or, test it out so it's not just words?
Well, it depends on the question and how fast they respond. And sometimes they will repeat it if we didn't acknowledge it. To me, I'm looking for an intelligent response to something that I'm asking,
Okay.
not just usually not just one word. I'm hoping sometimes when we're using the spirit box, which we use an awesome ink box made by Katie Stafford. I'm hoping to get, clear validation, intelligent responses. It'd be nice to get, a whole sentence if possible. If not, I'll take 1 word, 2, 3, whatever they can give. But it takes a lot of energy. They skip over those frequencies to get those words, to manipulate. But I've had them do it before, and it's pretty neat when you actually get that. But whatever good response I can get when I'm asking a question, I'll take it.
Yeah. Do you have those discussions among the 3 of you? Really, it's like, I heard this. What do you think? And
Yeah.
do you try to get a consensus on it? It's like, and you're talking about context. I'm getting a direct response to a question I specifically asked, whether it's a name, a number, a color, or whatever. But do you all get together and just say, what did you hear? What did you hear? What did you hear?
Yeah, we always do that.
Yeah.
Audience when we're live too, if they heard it.
Yeah, because not everybody's going to hear it the same, and that can be the problem when you're, when you're using the spirit boxes. Because if one person says, "I heard this name" or whatever, then someone else might hear it the same. So, right. I mean, I need a clear response. And which last night's investigation, we were getting clear responses, and we're talking, these spirits were angry. They were calling us bad words, and we won't repeat those words on here, but it was very clear response because they said it more than once, and I knew, this was, to me, clearly this is not coming. I don't believe this was, we were picking up on a radio station that was, cussing and talking crazy. No, I really feel like the spirit was able to pull energy, manipulate the ink box, and said what it had to say, and it was clear on its response.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to play a couple of those clips where you're called some bad things and see your reaction to it. Do you hear what he called me? So we're gonna play that. Yeah, we're gonna play that in a little bit for sure.
Are we missing a guy? Wasn't there 4 of us on here?
They take turns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you feel in your investigations you've ever been misled by a spirit? I think the general term is, they like to call them tricksters, and maybe they portray themselves as someone else, someone like really benign and harmless, and turns out that they are indeed someone else. Have you, or how many times have you encountered that, or you believe you have?
I believe I have. And my sister's been with us, been with me quite a few times when we've encountered that. We've investigated the Broadwell Funeral Home in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we had a lot of tricksters there. There's something dark and negative in that location, and it does to pretend to be sometimes a child or just something it's not, when it's something more negative and sinister.
How do you get
It sound like a little kid, but it's not, and it's the most creepiest voice. And we've actually had them sound like me, like, I forget what to call that when they do that. What is that called? Help me out, Ken. Do you know? I'm trying to remember. They manipulate me. It sounds like my voice. I've had them do that.
Oh, a mimic, yeah.
Mimic, yes, that's the word. I've had them mimic me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Chasity, let me ask you, when you go and do these things, how do your emotions play into this, whether it's fear, respect, or how you approach your spirit? Does that matter, or does it make a difference in terms of how they respond to you by how you're coming at them?
I just try to treat them like they're human beings. I don't try to treat them like they're, you know what I mean? I just try to talk to them like they're human. I'm not sure how to answer that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good start, but it's important, and I always like to know how people like. What is your method? What's your approach? How do you go in? I mean,
I just go in and try to see what we can get and talk to them, and sometimes we get good response, sometimes we don't. When I don't get a response, I get bored and I'm ready to try something else.
Chasity talks to them like you should. She'll say, they always say talk to them like they're here, like when they were here. So she'll sit and talk to them like we're having a conversation.
I try to be myself.
Yeah.
how do you guys feel about provocation, like some of the more aggressive investigators out there, who shall remain nameless, but it seems like that's their thing, challenging and, being badass about the whole thing? Do you honestly think that gets you better results or more results by irritating or goading a spirit into talking to you?
No, we don't believe in irritate. No, we treat them with respect.
Yeah, we don't do that. We don't, to be honest, when we come into a place, the energy that we bring, they're like I said, to me, how you are in this life, you take that personality with you. So if you see a group of ladies walking in, and just to be around us, you would understand. It's fun. We're funny.
Last night we had them laughing, didn't we, Mandy?
Yes.
Laughing at us.
We bring a lot of energy. So to me, it would be almost like they want to come towards us. Like, okay, what's going on here? Who are these ladies? We don't need to go in and start being, mean and trying to get a response that way. We'll go in and we've never left with just nothing at a location. It might be something very little, but we always get something. It might not be a lot of evidence that we really want, but it's always something.
Would you consider taking a different approach if you were in a residential and there were some physical contact and people felt threatened and there were children there and they were afraid? Would you take a little bit more aggressive posture in a case like that?
No, because I wouldn't want to make the spirit mad, whatever's going on or whatever energy is there. I wouldn't want to upset it more, because when I leave, they're going to have to deal with it, because to me, I wouldn't say that we could move them on, because honestly, I feel if they want to move on to another location or go where they should be going, they're going to go. If they don't want to go, I feel they won't go, because like I said, they want people too. And it's like trying to tell somebody what to do, you know, and you got stubborn spirits, just like some people are stubborn. They're going to do what they want. A lot of people will tell spirits when they get to the location, you stay here, don't follow me. And I tell people they're going to do what they want. They will follow you. They might eventually go back to wherever they came from, but they're going to follow you.
Have you ever had to counsel somebody and give them some advice that they need to affirm and claim their space back, which doesn't necessarily have to be aggressive, but just like you need to set up some guardrails in your house and try that. You need to stand there and just say, hey, listen, you know, we can coexist, but you need to stay where you are and you need to leave us alone, you know, because I mean, sometimes that's a positive message from the owners, right? You find yourself in that position at some time where you say, hey, you got a 7-room house and you're afraid to go in 5 of those rooms. You're paying the damn mortgage on this thing. You can't be afraid in your own house. So they need to like take a stand.
Yes, we have Chasity and I and Bobby Joe. We went in and we've ended up cleansing people's homes, and we tell them don't be afraid, because sometimes they will feed off of that energy. You need to stand up and take your power back, and don't be afraid. You know, and you know what's interesting is a lot of times we're very particular on the residential cases that we will take on. I'm the one that usually decides on whether we're going to take on a case or not, because there's a whole list of questions I got to ask, you know, medication wise, you know, what's going on here? How long has this been going on? What changed? You know, I want to know the specifics. And because a lot of times these people, they think it's something demonic and dark. They jump right to that. And I'm like, no, most likely it's not. It's just something that's an angry spirit. And that's what it is. We'll go and investigate. And a lot of times the spirit's just trying to get their attention. They might be angry, call you names and say, get out. But that doesn't mean it's something demonic or, you know, or dark energy. No, it's just a negative energy there. And you've done something to upset them. It could be you've remodeled something, or you're bringing in energy to the location that they're at and they don't like it. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's something dark. So a lot of times we find out it's just family members visiting them, or it's just an angry spirit. And I tell them, you need to take back your power and, you know, just let it know where you stand.
To claim your space. As promised, I want to get into a couple of these clips for my times up here. I took the liberty of grabbing a couple more because they're only like maybe 20, 30 seconds long. So the first one that I'm going to play for you guys is, I just labeled it Nate's Grave. And if you guys want to, if you want to set this up as far as where you were and what was going on before I play it.
Okay. The one where the spirit was calling me a bad name, that was at the Broadwell Funeral Home in Cincinnati, Ohio. I was down in the basement where there's said to be something dark and negative down there. He's an angry man. I don't know that he's a dark presence, but he's angry. Don't remember what the other one was that I sent you, Ken.
That'd be the first one I'm going to play, which is Nathan's Grave. I also have a spirit laughing at you. And an angry spirit. So why don't we get into this? This is the spirit box session, and Nate shows up.
Spirit. Well, my name's Mandy. What's your name? Hello? Did you guys hear him?
Nate.
I was at a cemetery down the road here from my house.
Yeah. Did that check out as far as the name? on any of the headstones, or?
Well, that was a big cemetery. I did, as I was walking around, I was trying to look for the name, but I didn't see. Of course, I couldn't check every one. There were so many.
Right, sure. Okay, you get called a bad name in this next one. So let's see who picks this up out there.
Oh my gosh, I keep feeling like, ugh. Did somebody pass away from a heart attack here? I mean, is that how you passed away? Any of you spirits here? Did you pass away from a heart attack? Did you hear what he just called me?
Yeah. I get a call all the time. I don't know why. I'm like,
everybody get that out there. My goodness, how rude. How rude.
Very rude. They were doing it last
time. If they disrespect me, I will disrespect them back. That's all I got to say. Treat them like they treat me.
It is a little funny, though. All right, so I grabbed another one here of a spirit laughing at. There are a couple that just kind of grabbed me, and this one sort of grabbed me in a funny way. I know you'll recognize it, but here it is.
Firing it up in the girls' bathroom all the time. I was in school. You know how that song goes. Who are you, sir? I got suspended for 3 days because I walked out of school and fired one up right on the property, and they got me. Are you okay? Are you listening to me? These sound like a man. Is the mean teacher here?
A kick out of that.
I was at a school. I forget what this Post-Town School, elementary Post-Town School.
And the last one I'm going to play is Angry Spirit, and probably should say that the spirit identifies himself by saying, "That's me." Now, immediately after that, you're going to hear another investigator tell Mandy what he heard was said. Okay, so the second time you hear those two words, that's actually investigator. So here we go.
Including myself, I have captured some amazing EVPs here. There is some angry spirits here.
That's me.
That's you? Are you the one that said to me, "Hey, ladies"? Was you the one that said that?
I'm going to repeat that only because, again, just before you hear the gentleman say "that's me," you'll hear it out of the box. Let's play that one more time.
Including myself, I have captured some amazing EVPs here. There is some angry spirits here.
That's me.
That's you? Are you the one that said to me, "Hey, ladies"? Was you the one that said that?
Well, at least she didn't call you a bad name that time.
They were last night. We had a female come through, and she said the B word twice.
My goodness. You, sir, are no gentleman. Okay, so before I get out of here and cede it to George, who I know he's going to get into some of the questions. We have a few up there. We've got a half a dozen anyway. Good. If you have any more, send them in. Spirit box, Echo. Now, what do you call? You got the Geo box as well, right?
No. I have the intercom box and the ink box.
Right. It filters out all that pop, 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 pop.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And I like it that way.
Would you guys say that's the go-to piece of equipment? Or is that just what you get the most results on? But is that kind of your thing with the box?
I love my intercom box and the spirit box. I even have another device called the Brainwave, and that thing is really awesome too. There's only like 5 of us that ever have one of those that Katie Stafford made, and I was fortunate to get one. We use that once in a while, but mainly the to-go is the ink box, my recorder. I do have the brand new SLS cameras, the 3D one, and I use it sometimes, but not a lot because those can be misled, misinformed. And I want to catch things differently. I want clear responses, and I don't just want to assume everything's paranormal. So that's why it's important I try to get the best evidence that I can and prove that it's coming from them.
I find we don't use SLS cameras extensively, but I enjoy the 3D mode more
Yes,
than
I do too.
the kinetic figures that are like this tall. And it's like, come on, folks, it's on an end table. It's a plant, you know. But I like it in 3D mode. I think that there's some value in that.
Well, and you know what, Ken, I'm open to using different things. And the reason I love using some equipment, I don't need a lot of equipment. I can walk in just with a camera and a recorder and be just fine. But I love using equipment some because I've had some of the most supernatural things happen to me with electronics. And I know that spirits use them to communicate. So that's another reason I like to use my ink box and my intercom box.
Excellent. All right. Well, I'm going to bring George back in, but I'm going to be back on to say good night to you both. So we'll see you in a little bit.
Hang on, Ken. Before you go, come on back for a second.
Sure.
Now will be a good time, as I'm trying to figure out why I'm so fuzzy, to explain the mind reading incident that you had to Mandy and Chasity. As she said earlier, she believes that the spirits can read our minds. Why don't you give her a some insight?
Well, there's a couple. I don't know if you're aware of Cody Desby and Satori Hawes.
Yes. I know Jason, and I haven't met his children, but yes.
Yeah. Well, there have been a couple of incidents. I guess the most dramatic was in an inn in Massachusetts, and they were communicating with somebody else, and I'm just lying on the bed in the room, and I'm looking through my phone to get some information on this place, maybe ask a few more questions. So I came across this site. You can still find it, Historic Haunted Hotels of America or something. And right at the top of the list is the Colonial Inn in Massachusetts, where we were at. So I'm reading it, and we're in room 27. So it was just a paragraph. So I kept scrolling, and I came across this passage that former head housekeeper Elizabeth Wilson haunts room 217. Now, in my mind, I just see the 2 and a 7. So I'm like, oh, I'll ask about Elizabeth Wilson. So they're doing their thing and spell out Ken thinking about Elizabeth Wilson. And my phone is like, I'm on the bed. The back of my phone is, they can't see anything. Ken thinking about Elizabeth Wilson. I'm like, are you kidding me? So the question was, hey, Elizabeth, they say you haunt this room. Do you haunt this room or something? Well, they say I am. They say I do. And she disappeared. And I said, wow, that was crazy. That was like the second or third time that's happened to me and them. And I said, well, that's crazy. And I go back to the phone, and I realize that I've scrolled past the location we're at. And what I was actually on was the Stanley Hotel in Colorado. And it was room 217, the ghost of Elizabeth Wilson, a former housekeeper, the Stephen King story, the whole thing. So apparently this woman came in from Colorado, or wherever she's buried, her final resting place, popped in because I was looking at her name and thinking about her on the phone. And to this day, it's still one of the most remarkable, bizarre, unexplainable things that I've ever encountered. It had nothing to do with lights and recordings or anything like that. It just played itself out in real time. So that's why when you talk about thoughts and things like that, that's kind of why, I was like, been there, bought the t-shirt.
Yeah.
All right. So just story time's over. Back to you, George.
That was amazing. It really was. And again, it's going back also when you're talking about inmates following your home. through the work with Cody and Satori and some of the stuff that Ken has done with Rise of Paranormal, also discovered that, in my opinion anyway, that these spirits are omnipresent. That it's not that they travel somewhere, that they're everywhere all at once. It's something that we can't comprehend as human beings because it's easier for us to compartmentalize these experiences and say it's just here. But it seems to be uh, not the case, at least in a lot of the different experiences. Perhaps those spirits that are trapped at a location, different story. But those who have that free will to travel, to be able to be omnipresent, allows them to be in multiple places at the same time. I've got some questions here for both of you, and you can either take turns or whoever wants to jump in on this. This first one here is from our friend and Patreon member, Sandy Andrews. Have your cases been mostly bad / demonic or benign basic hauntings?
I can honestly say I've only had one true case that was demonic, and that was in Ohio that I recently took care of with another friend who helped me. But mainly they're just your typical basic hauntings.
Demonic for certain or just hostile or aggressive?
Well, the case that I handled here in Ohio, that because of the history of the mother and the daughter and the satanic things that was going on. And
She did, yes. She cultivated this.
So
Yeah.
you could literally just stepping onto this property, you could feel it. This looked like something out of a horror movie. I'm not lying to you. It was god awful. Yeah. It was horrible.
I've been there. I think we all have as investigators when it comes to residential. The choices that they make sometimes are frightening. Well, thank you for the question, Sandy. Our other friend, Joseph Frezza, also Patreon member, asked and I guess you can each answer this by your own opinions on it, unless it's the same. What was one of the more active locations you've investigated?
Go ahead, Chasity. What do you think?
I don't know. The one last night was pretty active. What was the other one? I don't know. Most of them we go to are pretty active. It's really hard to say.
I'm going to say the Shrine in Tennessee and the place we investigated last night was pretty good too. The Shrine, I've had some of the most craziest things happen to me at this location. And if you don't know what the Shrine is, you can look it up on Facebook and that will explain a little bit more to you. We are ambassadors of the Shrine. This is a location that is very unique. You will not find another one. At least I haven't heard of another place like this.
Is that the one that's in Bellevue or Euclid?
It's in Tennessee.
Oh, in Tennessee. Okay.
Bristol, Tennessee. And this is a very unique place. And this is every place. It has everything that us paranormal investigators want to find and catch. I mean, now, if there ever was truly dark demonic things, that case we handled in Ohio definitely was, and definitely the Shrine in Tennessee definitely has, because there is things, I have seen things there, I have captured things, I have heard things, seen things, but this is a place that is active today. It's not one of the places that you found it. Yes. There's a portal table here. There's a lot of magic practices here. I mean, this is stuff that's going on. And not just that, it's the history of this location. The owner who lives there, his family was the original owners of this place, but it was a duplex when his family was there. But his uncles were not good. His uncles were bad people. And I actually did, I filmed with Shane Pittman and Sean Austin and Josh Purvis and all that. We actually filmed a whole documentary on this place with Scare TV Network. You guys want to check that out, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But we uncovered a lot of craziness with this location, which it's known for. But there's been in Missouri, we've been to some Cooper Hill. To me, most of these locations that like the ones you pay to get into, yes, they truly do have some dark things, negative things. Yeah, there it is. That's the cave there. Yeah, it's
That's
creepy.
spooky. Yeah.
It is. And there's a dragon portal table. Yeah. They welcome anything into this place. There's witches there. There's elementals there. There is spirits from years ago. There's spirits from today. I mean, everything.
Wait a minute. Are those legitimate skulls or that artwork?
That's just artwork.
Okay.
You should see the table. They built a 6,000-pound dragon portal table there. It's insane. It's made out of dragon cement. They had a guy who's a chemist who actually made his own. He put his own stuff in there to make it, and then he called it his dragon cement. But this place is insane. It really is scary. If I ever want to say there was a place that terrified me to the bone, it's that place. And I'm one. I don't like to go too many places inside that place alone. It has a different feeling to it than any location I've ever been to, because I know I've had things follow me from there that was attached to me, and it was not good.
Chasity, do you concur? Is this the location that has most impacted you?
Yeah, I would say. I say so. Yeah, it's pretty spooky. You got a lot of good stuff in there. He's got a doll that the hair grows. He's got a lot of stuff in there. Well, hey, it was nice meeting you. Is there any questions you need to ask me? I am very tired. I got to get going. It's been a long day. I've been on the road all day, so I can barely keep my eyes open. So I'm about to jump off here.
The only question I have is, can you stay with us on for another 2 hours?
Huh? What's that?
I was just saying, can you stay on with us for another 2 hours?
I stay on for another 2 minutes. My eyes just don't want to stay open.
Yeah, you go ahead and get some rest, Chasity. Thanks for popping in.
You're welcome. It was nice meeting you guys, and you enjoy your night.
All right, you take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Let's get through these questions. They keep adding up. But, okay, Jeff Hilton on this one. Is there a graveyard in Marion that's built like a park and has a crematorium in it?
Is there good? Yeah. Yes, I believe the Marion Cemetery does. Yeah, I believe so.
Jeff seems to know that area pretty well. He was mentioning some other things in there too, such as the headstone when you were looking for Nate, and he said that's a massive, massive cemetery.
That was Meeker's Cemetery here in Ohio, in the country. It's a big cemetery.
Mike Whiskey? I see if Mike Whiskey. Hi, Mandy. Have you ever been to the zoo house?
No, but wow, that would be interesting.
What is the zoo house?
Yeah, I need to know about this.
Are you familiar with it?
No.
Have you heard of the zoo house?
No, it's got me intrigued.
Yeah. It sounds like a fraternity. Sandy Andrews, again, another question. When someone that was incarcerated calls you for a case, do you worry that it's a setup? That's a good question. Because, again, this is an all-female investigative team. We had many, many shows discussing that in the past about the risks involved with going to a domestic location as female investigators. But does that something that comes into play? Do you guys have that discussion?
Yes, and I am the one that will determine, because my sisters don't know a lot of the ones that I dealt with, and that has worried me. Yeah, but there was only one case that we did, and I had someone with me, and it was a very interesting one. But it was handled very well. But there was another person that was incarcerated that reached out to me, and they kept sending me like crazy videos that was really impelling videos. Like I'm like trying to debunk what I'm seeing here. And I'm like, okay, there's definitely something going on, but I had no intentions on doing an investigation, but I let them know, hey, I will come over, I will walk through, see what I pick up on, and just kind of get a feel on things. And I did do that, but I felt comfortable doing it because I trusted my intuition, and I dealt with the person a lot. They never was violent towards me in any way. So I did do that one time, and after that, I was like, I don't want to do anything like that again. So I don't think I would personally. No, I won't put myself in a situation like that again.
Wise choice, to say the least. Next question. I got 4 left for you. Dan St. Marie, good friend, said, have you ever tried just having a conversation among the investigators and see if the spirits join in some fashion? It's a technique many have used. Yeah.
Yes. So sometimes you shouldn't always go into investigation. At least I think you shouldn't go in and right away just keep focusing on the REM pod or a cat ball, whatever it is you're using. Sometimes I don't want to just listen to the ink box and let it run the whole time. I want to just talk and listen, or, sometimes I will turn the ink box on and I'll ignore ink box and the equipment I might have out and just talk. And that's when you will get some things. Like sometimes it won't even be nothing to do with your equipment. Like we've actually done that at a haunted bar that had a house attached to it. We were ignoring the spirit. We just got done investigating. And one of the claims was there's a little girl that likes to knock on the door. So we didn't capture that until we were done investigating. We were actually packing up our equipment, and we were talking about TV shows and who we like to watch and all this, and just totally ignoring, and all of a sudden that's when we captured, we heard the 3 knocks. And I was like, I heard it among us talking. Don't ask me how I heard it because we were pretty loud. But as soon as I heard a knock, I immediately got my phone out and started recording and asking questions and got the 3 knocks right on cue. So yeah, I like to ignore them sometimes because they want to get your attention then.
Yep. Sandy wanted to know, this is from earlier on in the conversation with Ken, what is the intercom box or ink box?
The intercom box is a device. It's like a spirit box, but it does have the echo in it. It's just so much more clear on the communication. The intercom box was built by Jay Prather. When he built the intercom box, and it's also a direct link. So when I say it's a direct link, I can actually use my energy for them to communicate better, because spirit has to have energy. How can I explain it? He built this device, as most spirit boxes have the FM station and bird sweeping. This device, he built it to where it's not supposed to pick up on any radio stations. So he believes the connection you're getting is coming straight from spirit. So that's the best way to describe that box. It's a very unique box. I love it. I've had it. It was my first second. I had the SP7 spirit box first, but this was one of the best ones I had when I first started. The ink box is different. It has shortwave 1, shortwave 2, and shortwave, it consists of less frequencies, which I love. So it's more quiet. You don't get all that white static noise. It's just so much more quiet. And it has the FM and the AM station also. But it's really interesting. I have it right here. Do you want me to show you?
Yes, sure, absolutely.
It looks like an old 80s boombox.
Oh, that's too much.
Oh, I love it. Look at this.
It does look like an 80s boombox.
Yes, you can get cassette tapes, and when you're out there, you can record your session that you're doing.
That's excellent. That's excellent. That is an excellent idea.
It is pretty cool. I love this thing, and I'm going to tell you, I've had the most intelligent responses come through the ink box, and I mean, really freaks me out sometimes because it's
Those,
just so random, you know.
Those designers, the ones who created those, are they reachable if there are people who want to purchase some of these items?
Yes, Katie Stafford. Most people know who Katie is. Some people might not. He was on the Travel Channel. He's well known for Devil's Perch, and oh Lord, he's on another one that he was on for 4 or 5 years. But their website is called Supernatural Inc. You can find him on Facebook and YouTube. He is called they call him the Mad Scientist. He designs all these different devices, and he's amazing. I love his work.
All right, so you guys in chat, if you don't have anything to write down that information, just come back to this time frame in the show so you can get this info later. Hi, Sherry. How you doing, sweetheart? Okay, Jeff Hilton again is he's fixated on that crematorium at the graveyard in Marion. Are you familiar with it? And he says he doesn't like that area for some reason.
Well, there's a lot of history in those cemeteries. One, if it's the same one, the cemetery in Marion is known for, there's a huge ball that is said to rotate. And it's got like all these little balls around it. It's a really cool grave site. I forget what, Merchant Ball. It's called the Merchant Ball.
Merchant Ball. Okay. Here's my final question for you, and just in time. We only got about 2 minutes left. From Steph McLean, who apparently knows your team. Do you ever encounter people that just want to be on TV or get attention by saying their place is active? I've run into this before. Have you?
Yes. Yeah, we ran into that, and we've also ran into people reaching out. Probably claiming that they have more things going on, trying to amp it up. And I think they want us to go there, you know, because they know we go live and they want that attention.
Chris is saying yes.
That's my husband.
Yes, it happens. So Chris comes along with you guys then as well, huh?
You know what? Sometimes he does. It's not really his thing, but you know, my sisters don't always go with me. This is more my passion than it is theirs. But you know, they do when they can. My sister's a businesswoman, Chasity. She jumps on the podcasting when she can. Bobby Joe is kind of shy when it comes to doing the podcasting, so it's harder to get her to join.
Sure.
But anyway, my sisters go when they can, and when they can't, I usually collaborate with other investigators, or I drag my husband home.
Understood. Well, we are at the end of our show. We are actually out of time. Ken, if you want to join back in with us here, I'd like to say to the Ghost Sisters, particularly Mandy, thank you for joining us for tonight, our final live show, live interview show. We'll be doing other live shows here in the future as well. But you've been a gracious guest. I cannot thank you enough for being part of this evening.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure, man.
And I'll keep checking on you on social media as well. All right.
All right.
You take care of yourself. Have a great night. Good hunting.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Take care now.
Good night.
Bye-bye. All right. KGRADB.com. It has been a wonderful relationship. It has been a great ride with you guys. We wish you continued success as well. And as far as our producer, Bill Forte, Bill, I know you got to go. We're a minute over, but I just wanted to say thank you for everything again, my friend.
You'll be
really,
seeing
really
Bill again. Don't be surprised if Bill pops up with an interview or something silly. So
you never know. That does it for us, guys. Thank you so much. For our town hall members, we'll see you tomorrow night. And again, we will continue to provide incredible content right here on the channel. There's always something new. There's always something exciting. And thank you guys so much again for being part of this family. On behalf of Ken DaCosta, my name is George Lopez. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you again soon. Thank you. Goodbye.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, big lips, bruised knees.